wrestling. This is DWBS Sports. DWBS Sports, it's your favorite show. DWBS Sports, where degenerates go. DWBS Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Haldeman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Race Dudes YouTube channel. We're back for Dudes Who Bet Sports on a Thursday. Papa Dude, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot of bowl games to cover. Are you ready to roll?
Let's do it. I've tickled here at Shotty's because dear Oakland, we want the Monday card drawn today. I remember Shotty when Oakland wouldn't get the cards out till like 2 days before the race. Remember those days, Aaron?
I do. Yeah, they used to draw. If they ran on a Saturday, they'd draw on Thursday, and it'd be like Thursday late afternoon before they'd come out. Yeah. This is not the norm for Oakland anymore. Usually it's a 6-day window, but with the holidays, I guess they just said to hell with it. We'll go back to this. So, yeah, Monday's card will not come out until tomorrow, probably around this time tomorrow. So, yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks for sure. But, yeah, the Smarty Jones card will be on Monday. The Saturday card for Oakland is out. Husker Butch is entered. So race 6 for Husker Butch, the 11 in race 6 on Saturday. And a buddy of yours and mine is that he's going to be there. Did you know? Mr. Bazor is going to go down to Oakland this weekend?
I did not.
Yep. He let me know.
New Year's celebration. I bet he will bet a bunch on Husker Butch. Probably.
He's very excited for Husker Butch. Yeah, he said, man, I'm excited he's going to be running. So hopefully you'll see him in the winner's circle this weekend. I told him, the trainer will know who he is, so he'll definitely be in the winner's circle if he wins. Yeah, 6-1 for Husker Butch. Probably where he deserves to be. We'll see. I'm not too high on his chances after handicapping. So
what's he in? What's the race?
$30,000 claimer.
Ooh, at Oakland? I don't know.
It's probably a little bit tough of a race for him. He's not without any chance at all, but I don't know. We'll see. A couple of horses that look dangerous are also coming off layoffs, so that helps. We'll see. We'll see how he runs. We're excited to have him back, though. We're back running. Yeah,
that's cool.
For sure. For sure. All right, well, let's get to the games. Let's do it. We're going to start college first today. We've been doing NFL first, but we'll start college first today for this one. Look, we won't talk about the games tonight because we've already kind of covered those, but we'll start with Friday's games. We kind of mentioned on the morning show, they're getting better. They're definitely getting better, but they're still not great, these bowl games. We'll start off with Clemson and Kentucky in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Clemson, a 4-point favorite against Kentucky.
I got to go with Clemson. I like the way they finished the season. Kentucky came off a big win as well. Both teams, I think, will be motivated and play well. I'm going to go with the Tigers to cover that 4 points.
All right, I'm going to go with Clemson as well to kick off Fridays. That's tomorrow's action. Oregon State and Notre Dame. Notre Dame, a 6-point favorite here in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
God.
I feel like Oregon State's been hit with a lot of portal problems, coaching problems. I think they should be big underdogs in this one.
I do too, and they are. Notre Dame coming off a disappointing season. What's his name playing?
Talking about Sam Hartman?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Haven't heard anything though. Of
course, I doubt
he's
playing.
Unless you really are studying the bowls, you wouldn't hear anything because it's kind of an insignificant game.
Yeah.
I like Notre Dame as well, especially if he plays. Now, if he doesn't play, in the Oregon State quarterback's out as well, who knows? And that's what's made these bowl games so hard. Yeah. I'll take Notre Dame as well. Oh, he's announced he's done?
Yeah, he announced a while back, and that's why you probably haven't had it fresh in your mind. Yeah, he's not playing in this game.
I don't know.
Look, I mean, the other side of it is Oregon State's going to have a shell of their team as well.
Yeah, you got to go with I think Notre Dame's better anyway, so you got to go with them. 6 you might look at that a little bit. Kevin mentioned there are these bowl games, and I don't know. You want to talk about it at the end of this, or?
Well, I'm going to bring it up right now because this is a game. Let's say 10 years ago.
Yeah,
you have this circled. You'd be like, all right, this is going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah,
and now it's shit. And we talked about A&M and Oklahoma State last night. That's a game 10 years ago. I'm going to just block out whatever I'm doing because this is going to be a good game. these games, they're not that anymore. You see Oregon State, you see Notre Dame, you think this will be fun. It's not. They're shells of what they were all season. And the teams you watch all season for a lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of them, it doesn't matter. They're meaningless games.
They are. And it is worthless. And
Yep.
there's some solutions out there. One of them is you can't enter the portal till after the first year, till after the bowl is over. That's simple. That is. I heard somebody that we were talking about last week. Well, you can't enroll in school. Bullshit. Do you think if Georgia gets somebody they want to put into their football program, they can't go and get that kid registered and get him into school? Come on. That is total bullshit. Yes, they will get those players in. And that's another thing that should be stopped anyway.
Listen, a lot here, not to interrupt, but a lot of transfers that are in the transfer portal, they were playing yesterday for Tulane. Yeah. So that just shows you right there it can be done. But anyway, go ahead.
And another thing, these high school kids that are leaving high school to go to play college, and they leave its semester, that needs to be stopped too. That's ridiculous. Yeah. They need to finish their high school years. That would put a stop to a lot of stuff. It's gotten to where now it's far too important. And anyway, the bowl games are worthless now. They are.
It's bad.
They mean nothing to these kids.
Well, have you heard? Okay, that's not that is not a fair statement.
Well, they mean nothing to a lot of them.
It means nothing to a lot of them, but there are games where I've watched where I go, hey, these two teams act like they want to win.
I should say the kids that stay, they mean something to them.
Right.
But there's too many that it's not beneficial for them to play in the game. And, it's just really ruining it for all of us. And I don't know. Have you heard the interview with Stoops and Cale Gundy? And they were talking about this.
I haven't heard it. No, I haven't heard it yet.
And Gundy has some really good points that needs to be addressed. And one of them is with this portal thing too. They were talking about what needs to be done. And basically they were saying kind of the same thing we are saying. The universities have got to get control of this, or these higher level teams of the power conferences just need to branch off and form their own league.
Kind of like
the NFL, and then you have a salary cap. You have a salary cap like the NFL does on your NIL money. And everybody that way could sort of be equal. And then if you don't play in the bowl game, you get socked. You lose some of your NIL money.
You're either going to have to get rid of them, or you're going to have to come up with ways for players to play. It's just that simple. One of the two has to happen. And if you go, well, that's impossible. We can't get them to play. Well, you're going to have to get rid of them.
Exactly. And
I don't know what to tell.
Go ahead.
I'm the biggest fan of the bowls there is.
Me too.
I love the bowls, and I hate the bowls now.
Yeah. Because it's just like, this is a game right here that you already mentioned. This would be a pretty good game with all of the players playing.
Yep.
And now, if you're gambling on this, you just don't have any idea how to pick them.
I still turn on the bowls when they start, and I can tell within a quarter if I need to keep watching them. And I've watched maybe 3 or 4 all the way through. This one that's happening right now between SMU and Boston College is watchable. They are playing like they want to win the game. So
they're lower level teams. Let's just say that they're really SMU's not, but they got their players.
Yep,
for the most part.
Yeah,
that's what makes the game what it is.
Yeah, and you would always have bowl games where a team would show up and you could tell they weren't really in it. That's unavoidable if you're disappointed in the season or whatever. But this is every game. It's just like, all right, well, what are we going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
as we run through this, we're going to see every game pretty much. You just don't, most of them you don't know.
All right. Well,
I think you got to go with Notre Dame tonight.
Let's keep it going here. We'll go Memphis and Iowa State next. This is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. This game being played on Memphis's home field, but Iowa State really finished off the season well. We'll see if they can keep it going. I think there'll be a ton of Iowa State people there. They travel pretty well for the bowls. Iowa State in this one, a 10.5-point favorite. Who you got in this one?
I think that's too many points.
I think it's too many points. Yeah.
Now, maybe Memphis has lost their quarterback. I don't know. but Memphis was pretty good. They were solid at 9-3. Um, Iowa State was up and down, very well coached. I really like the way they coach and play. They'll be ready. Their fan base is really good.
Yeah.
This is a fan base that is loyal. They're not expecting wonderful things. They're glad they're in a bowl game. That's a good season for them.
Yep.
Very realistic. I love their fan base. I think it's too many points. I'm taking Memphis plus the points, especially at home.
Well, and just to kind of talk about the fan base and what you kind of touched on there, one of my best friends, Paul Withrow, is a huge Iowa State guy and went to an Iowa State game up in Ames with him and loved their fan base like you're talking about. And look, to that point, Iowa State went 7-5, pretty decent year for them, and not great though. And the minute he heard the game was in Memphis, he went and bought tickets because he's like, "Oh, Memphis, I can drive to that. There's no way I'm missing that game." So, yeah.
Well, to put it in perspective too, if this was Oklahoma, they'd be upset if they were going to the Liberty Bowl.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Iowa State hasn't had very many 11-1 seasons, 10-2 seasons. They're to have a fan base that's as loyal as they are.
Yeah,
I compare them a lot to South Carolina. That's another one. They sell that 80,000 seat stadium out.
Yeah,
there's lots of people there game after game after game, and they're not very good either. Those are good, loyal fan bases.
For sure. Well, I agree though. I think it's too many points.
I think it's too many points.
I think Iowa State wins. I think Memphis might cover that one, especially with playing in their home stadium. All right, Missouri in Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State now a 3.5-point favorite. I was pretty surprised by that.
What has happened?
Missouri had been the favorite for a long time. I think what's happened is the uniform has flipped this one back to Ohio State. Now, why was Missouri favored? Well, A, they're a pretty good team. B, Ohio State has lost a lot of people in the portal, including starting quarterback.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here in this one?
I haven't kept up with this. It shocked me when I just now saw that because they were like 2-3 point favored. Missouri was. This thing has switched about 6 points.
Yep.
So, I see the uniform thing, but Missouri's pretty good. Yep. And you were talking about games that mean something. You don't think this means something to them?
Huge game for Missouri. Yep.
Yes, go 11-2 and top it off by beating Ohio State.
Yep.
And they're capable of beating them anyway. Ohio State's lost a quarterback. The best receiver in college football is gone as well. It's going to be tough. I got to go Missouri, especially now that Ohio State is favored.
Yeah, back to Ohio State being favored. I think Ohio State opened it like almost 6.5-point favorite. Then it went all the way to Missouri. Now it's back to Ohio State.
Yeah.
You're taking Missouri? No way. Give me the Buckeyes. The uniform will scare Missouri. Give me Ohio State. I don't care about the matchup. Uniform scares Missouri. Ohio State gets this done big. All right. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl next. That'll be Saturday. It'll open us up on Saturday. Ole Miss and Penn State. Very good matchup here. Penn State, 4.5-point favorites against Ole Miss. Who you got?
Oh, this is a good game. Really good. You got a team that's known for their defense in Penn State and a team that's known for their offense in Ole Miss. But offensively, Ole Miss wasn't as good this year as they have been, but they're still a solid 10-2 team. I think Penn State's got a lot to prove. A lot of people think they suck. Well, they lost 2 games to Michigan and Ohio State. Those are pretty good teams. They beat everybody else. I'm going to take the Nittany Lions. I think they're going to play a good game and beat Ole Miss.
I think Ole Miss beats Penn State in this game.
All right.
I like Ole Miss a little bit more than Penn State here. I'm going to take the Rebels in this one. We're different on a lot of these games, so that'll make it interesting to see what happens. But no, I'm taking the Rebels.
I'm struggling with the bowl games. I've kind of gotten a little bit better this week, but man, last week was bad.
Well, it's pretty easy to struggle. They have been tough for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the Music City Bowl next. Auburn and Maryland, a big game here. Auburn's a 6.5-point favorite here against Maryland. Who you got?
Yeah, this is kind of a bad one compared to these others we've been talking about.
Yeah.
6.5. Auburn's okay sometimes and just awful other times. Maryland's pretty steady. They're not very good. 6.5, too many points. Give me Maryland plus 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take Maryland as well in a game that I will not watch probably
No.
a second of. So, all right, let's keep going here. The Orange Bowl, Georgia and Florida State. Look at this. Georgia is a 20-point favorite here against 13-0 Florida State. We do know the backup quarterback is transferring. He's out. I don't know what's going to happen here in this one. This looks like blowout written all over it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. If they're down to the kid that played in the ACC championship game, going against Georgia's defense, unless Georgia's not ready to play, which will it even matter? I don't know. I don't think they'll be real highly motivated for it. What do they got to prove? They could go beat them 50-0, but nobody's going to think that's anything, Yeah. I feel sorry for Florida State. I really do. That, they're probably going to get beat pretty bad, and then everybody's going to say, well, they shouldn't have been in the big game anyway. I'm going to go Georgia to cover the 20, and I hope Florida State proves me wrong and plays well, but I just don't think they can stay with Georgia.
It's a nightmare scenario for Florida State for sure. If you watch them against Louisville, and then you watched Louisville last night, it's like, oh God, this Florida State team's going to get demolished. And absolutely the worst draw you could have.
The worst.
A wounded Georgia team.
Yeah.
Probably going to have enough pride to show up and be really
with your third string quarterback.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna
be bad. I feel for him. How would you like to be 13-0, and and you're just despondent because you didn't get into the playoffs?
Yeah,
and this is your reward. And it would be. You talk about a game that would be a great game if Florida State had all their players. That would be a pretty good matchup, but they don't. So
Yep. It's going to be rough. I have a feeling. All right. Well, last one, Toledo and Wyoming in the Arizona Bowl. Wyoming 3.5-point favorites here against Toledo. Who you got?
Oh boy. I know this is a hard one too. I'm going to go with Wyoming. I know their coach resigned. Retired? Is he coaching this game? I kind of think he is.
Yeah, this will be his last game from what I heard. Yeah.
And I think that's a plus for them. Mm-hmm. I think they'll play well for him in his final game. And I don't think Toledo's all that great. So I'm going to go Wyoming to win this one.
Yep. I'm going to go Wyoming as well. And I kind of agree. This is one that just seems like, hey, we're looking for motivating factors. That's definitely one. I think they'll play a good game. So I'm going to go.
They're pretty good anyway. So
they were a solid team all year long. They've been solid for sure. All right, let's go to Monday, New Year's Day here. These are the big ones. We'll go first with Wisconsin and LSU. LSU, a 10-point favorite here against Wisconsin. I'm just kind of shocked Wisconsin's in this game. I thought they'd be a little bit lower of a bowl, but where are you going in this one?
Well, it's the bowl tie-ins.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why that's wrong too, because they don't deserve to be on New Year's Day.
No.
7-5, and they were a bad 7-5.
Yeah, they weren't good.
No, if LSU is ready, they'll kick the snot out of them, I think. So I'm taking LSU plus the points, or with the points, if they're ready. That's the big key, surely. I would think they would be.
Yeah. Well, this is the factor here. No Heisman Trophy winner. He's sitting out. So
that's true.
To me, Wisconsin they are not good at all.
They're not. They can't score.
Yeah. So I think it's a weird one. I don't know. And again, here we are New Year's Day, and we don't get to see players. So we're still worried about it. So.
I guess he's afraid he'll get hurt. Is that what the deal is?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, though. I think LSU beats them, but I don't know if I'll touch it or not. All right, let's go to this one. The Fiesta Bowl, Liberty and Oregon. Oregon, 17-point favorite. Who you got?
I think they're probably 17 points better. Who's going to be more motivated in this one, though?
Liberty.
You got to think Liberty. 17's a lot of points. Well, if they get on them early, they're undefeated. I can't take them to cover. I saw them play a few times. And for what they are, they're really good.
Yeah.
But Oregon, again, are they motivated? You remember a few years ago when Boise State and OU played?
Yeah.
But Boise State, I think, was better than this Liberty team. And I think Oregon was better than the Oklahoma team. That was not a great OU team that year.
Mm-mm.
And that was a great game, an all-time classic. We were just on the short end of it. I'm going to go ahead and take Oregon plus the points, but I tell you, a little scary.
To me, I think Oregon does one or two things. They show up and they dominate, or they sleepwalk and they do what's happened to many big schools when they're playing the smaller schools. It gets very close. I'm going to go Oregon dominates. I think coming off of a loss, I think they'll kind of be ready to play. Bo Nix is going to play in the game. So that's going to help as well. So I will take Oregon big in this one. All right, Iowa and Tennessee next. Tennessee, a 6-point favorite here in the Citrus Bowl. Look, this is an interesting game, right? I mean, what will Iowa do here in this one? Can they score any points? Total sitting at 35.5 if you're keeping track of that. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Well, Tennessee's quarterback's not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that running across the bottom last night on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not very good on offense. They really aren't. Mm-mm. So that over-under comes in play. You wouldn't think it would, but it does.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, to me, Iowa proved against Michigan, they've got a damn good defense.
They really played a lot better than I thought they would in that game.
They did.
Even though they didn't, they never had a chance, but they played better. Yeah.
They had no chance to win because they cannot move the ball, but they held Michigan down and gave Michigan 14 points out of the 26. So, that's pretty stiff when you cannot move the ball. And with this guy not playing for Tennessee, it makes the game closer. I think Tennessee will score enough to win. I'm thinking maybe 20-7, maybe. I think Iowa can keep it close. So, but I'm going to go Tennessee to cover. I don't know if I'll go that under or not. I just don't know.
It's to me, you go Tennessee in this game. I don't know.
I don't either.
This Iowa team, I just can't. I can't envision them being able still to score enough to win against a Tennessee defense that's average at best.
Don't you think they'll be motivated?
I do think they'll be motivated, but they are just so horrible offensively. I just can't. I just can't back them. I just can't. No. All right, the two that matter. Here we go. Finally,
right. I think they're all playing.
We've covered all these games, and finally, the two big ones. We'll kick it off with Alabama and Michigan. These are going to be two great games. Michigan, a 1.5-point favorite here. Total sitting at 44.5. All right, Papa Dude, Alabama or Michigan? Who you got?
Well, okay. Doesn't this pretty much explain everything? The players on these teams are all playing. They're not worried about getting hurt for the pros or anything else. So what's this tell us? This is the only thing that matters.
Yep.
The rest of the bowl games don't matter because we got NFL players all over the board on these two teams, but they're playing.
Yep.
So this is all that matters. And I'm going around and around in circles on this first one. You don't ever bet. One of the rules is don't bet against Alabama.
Yep.
You and I watched Alabama a lot.
Yep.
And I saw them play stink it up in a couple of games. I didn't see Michigan stink it up all year, but they didn't play the caliber teams that Alabama did. But I never did see them stink it up. I did see Alabama. But then in the one game that mattered the most, they played great against Georgia.
Yep.
Do they have another one in them? I don't know. Do I go against the rules and take Michigan? No. I'm taking Alabama just because you don't bet against them. But I think Michigan's going to beat them. I kind of do.
I kind of think Alabama's going to roll.
You do?
I do.
By the way, did you
really do.
Did you see the rumor for this is it for Saban?
No, I have not seen that.
Well, it was on Twitter, so that's why you
Well,
didn't
then
see
I don't
it.
care. But
But his daughter has come out and made a statement that this is it.
wow, no, I did not know that.
And I saw that.
Well, to that,
It makes sense.
this
to
could
me.
be it for Harbaugh at Michigan too.
That's right.
So-
But this whole thing makes sense to me with Saban. He's 70, 71. He's in his 70s now, low 70s. I think he's tired of this shit.
Oh, I
I
would
think
say.
this is his finest year of coaching at Alabama.
Mhm.
Let's put it this way, if he wins it all this year, I think he's done. I could see him riding out on a high. He's already,
Yeah.
I think down deep, he knows he's done a tremendous coaching job this year. I think
Yeah.
it's his best. And I'm kind of pulling for him. And I don't ever root for Alabama, but I'm kind of pulling for him because I love the way they've hung in there and fought this year.
You watched that game last year. I don't know how you play Michigan in this game this year. That's my thing. If you watched that game last year, where an inferior TCU beat the hell out of their defense, I don't know how you play Michigan in the game.
Yeah.
That's where it is with me. I don't.
That's where I'm going Alabama too. I just can't bet against them in a game like this.
No. I think it goes over the 44.5, and I think Alabama wins by double digits. I feel pretty confident in it, and I've been wrong a lot in this bowl season, but somebody tell me why I should think Michigan, why they're world beaters. You tell me why I think Michigan's a really, really, really good team.
They have one good win. That's it. They really do. They beat Ohio State.
Right.
They did beat Penn State, and I think they beat them at Penn State, and that's a good win. I don't care what anybody says. Alabama beat Georgia. To me, that's better than the other one. So, and Alabama, this is what they thrive on, isn't it?
I just don't see any way we should think Michigan is like an ass kicker type of team.
Oh, they're not.
They played one good. Let me back up. They played one average offense all season, and they couldn't stop them for a lot of the game. And that was Ohio State. And Ohio State got stopped by all kinds of people.
Yeah, they're not as good as usual.
I think if Michigan wins the game, they're going to have to win it like 35-31. I really believe that.
I don't know if they can do that.
If they can put up 35, and I guess what I'm saying is I think Michigan's best side of the ball is the offense. I think their offense is far superior from the defense. I will be shocked if Michigan wins like a 24-10, 24-17 type of game. If they win 35-31, something like that, I'm not shocked at all because
I'm the other way around. So
I just think this defense at Michigan is so overrated. It's unbelievable. And I saw the same thing last year. And I went in last year and I said, you know what? They will dominate TCU.
Yeah,
TCU made them look silly. They did. And I'm not a hater of Michigan. I thought Michigan would win that game. TCU made them look silly. And I sit here and think, Ohio State did whatever they wanted for a large part of that game on that defense. And I've seen Ohio State look like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe Alabama will move the ball well enough to win. And I think it'll come down to Alabama's going to get low 30s. If Michigan can get above the low 30 score, they're going to win. I don't think they're going to. I think Alabama's going to win like a 31-21 type of game. I really do.
Yep.
So, and look, Silver Charm says 4th and 17 versus Auburn. There's no way I can argue it. And I think it was more like what Carter Amrod said. I think they were further back, but Alabama looked awful.
Oh, terrible.
In that game.
Got dominated.
I mean, should have lost the game. The next week, if that Alabama team from next week shows up, if the Alabama team that played LSU shows up, if the Alabama team that played 2 or 3 other games towards the end of the year shows up, I think they're going to beat Michigan. I do. And It's just me. I mean, again, I'm not a Michigan hater. I'm not a Big Ten hater. I kind of would prefer Michigan to win as far as like, hey, it's something different. But until Michigan shows up and beats a team out of conference like this, I don't have the confidence in them. Yeah. I don't. And if Texas showed the blueprint on how to beat Bama and it was the second game of the year, why did they not lose another game the whole rest of the season? That's my rebuttal to that.
It was the second game of the year.
And listen, Texas is in the college football playoff. Texas has one loss that they never should have lost. No. So Texas may have been able to do it because Texas is really good. And that's the other part of it.
And Alabama hadn't got it figured out yet.
And that's the other side of it.
I hope the hell they play each other again because Alabama's going to kick the shit out of them if they play again.
I'm not so sure. Really not.
They ain't going to play them again. So
for me, this is more of I just don't believe Michigan's that good of a team. That's where it's at. I think Michigan is a good team. I don't think they're great. I think a lot of people think they're great. And if you think Michigan's a great team, you got to play them. You absolutely have to. Because I don't think this Alabama team's a great team either. I just believe Alabama is a better team than Michigan. That's all that all amounts to. So I'm on Alabama. You're on Michigan. Again, we're for the very much the
on Alabama.
Oh yeah, you said you're on
Alabama. I can't pick against Alabama. No way.
Yeah, but you weren't as confident.
Not as confident as you are, but there's no way I'm betting against Alabama.
Yeah, I just think they're better. That's what it comes down to. And you can argue all kinds of points. I just think Alabama is a better team than Michigan. So I'm going to go Bama. All right, Texas and Washington. Texas, a 4-point favorite here against Washington. All right, who you got in this one?
Why are they a 4-point favorite?
See, now, okay, here's the deal.
I know why.
I think this one is a total toss-up.
Not me.
Really? Who do you like?
Washington.
Really? Okay.
Why is Texas a 4-point favorite? They beat Alabama in the second week of the season. That's the only reason.
Well, they
look at their schedule.
Yeah, they haven't played anybody. I agree.
That's the only team they've played.
Yep.
They should have lost 2 or 3 games. They lost the Oklahoma game. They should have lost the Kansas State game.
Yeah, they say really should have. Yeah.
Kansas State just gave that game to them. And by the way, that was in Austin.
Yep.
Okay, they rolled over a horrible Oklahoma State team in the Big 12 championship game.
Yep.
Big whoop-de-doo. There was another close game they had somewhere along the line that they could have easily won. The Big 12 was the worst conference of the Power 5. Well, I don't know. Maybe the ACC is worse. Mm-hmm. But they were weak. And then let's look at who Washington beat. Okay, they beat Oregon not once, but twice.
Yep.
Arguably, and I think it's a very good argument, they played in the best conference in the country this year, in the Pac-12.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're undefeated. Who has the best coaching staff? Not even close, Washington.
Yep.
Who has the best quarterback? Washington.
Yep.
I'm taking the Huskies all the way. They're my pick to win it all. So I'm going with Washington to beat Texas.
Wow. You're going to go Washington to win the whole thing.
I am.
I have Texas picked. So
you're just trying to jinx them, I hope.
I think Texas on the line of scrimmage is better than anybody in the country. That's my take. And I think
I don't see that.
I think they are. I think their defensive line is I think their defensive line is the best in the country. Offensive line, maybe not, but I think their defensive front really showed up in a huge way second half of the year. Really after the Oklahoma loss, they played very well on the defensive line. I think it all is going to come down to, that unit. Can they get pressure on Washington? Can they make Penix kind of uneasy? Man, I went Texas. I just think they're going to beat them. I don't know. There's just something about them.
Ooh, hiss.
I've seen them. I'm telling you, I still look back at that Saturday in October and I think, how did we beat them? They're so much better than we are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And maybe it is a situation where the coaching is weak enough that Washington's able to get it done. I could see that, but I took Texas. I just had to do it. I feel bad doing it, but
I'm losing a lot of respect for you.
I just think
I
they're
cannot.
better.
There is no bit of my body that can take Texas. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I think they're better.
I don't care if I think they're better. I cannot ever give them credit.
People are so mad at me. Feel shoddy, so mad at me, but
shoddy. We need to have, what do you call it when a guy's addicted and you have this
an intervention.
We need to have an intervention. This is bad. This is, if he wasn't just getting over COVID, we'd meet halfway between where she lives in Fayetteville, right?
Yeah.
We could meet in whatever that's called.
See, you're so flabbergasted now.
I cannot. Bella Vista. We could meet in Bella Vista and the Dairy Queen there, and have an intervention because I'm just stunned at what I'm hearing. I'm just stunned.
I just think they're better. I've had that feeling for about 4 weeks now.
I'm gonna tell you this:
they're just better.
If they are ahead by a couple of touchdowns in this game, I will turn it off.
Yeah.
I cannot watch it.
I'm worried. I just worry. I worry up front is where I worry.
Absolutely hate them. And I cannot stand the thought of them winning the national championship. I may give up college football if they win the national championship. It will ruin my life if they win.
Well, they've already won it before. It's not like they've never won it.
It just killed me when they did that year. I didn't sleep for a month.
So yeah, listen, I do think quarterback situation at Washington's a lot better. I do. They definitely have the advantage with quarterback. So that's good news for Washington. But I don't know. I just worry that everywhere else is going to favor Texas.
I think Washington's just sitting out there. Nobody's really talking about them.
Yeah.
And they're just going to come in there and Texas is going to piss down their legs like they do several times, and they're going to get beat.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right, but I don't think you.
Oh God, I hope I'm right.
Well, we'll see. We're going to find out. That's going to be. I think this is a coin toss, a total coin toss. And I think the other one, I'm pretty high on Alabama in that game. 4 points. We didn't talk about the 4 points. You're going to go Washington, so obviously you think it's too much for Texas to be favored by 4. I kind of agree that if you get into the point spread, I can see it being a 3-point game. 4 is a tricky number, so I don't know. Does a playoff loss drive Sark back to drinking? That's come on now.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not going to approach that. So you have Washington winning it all.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Right. We'll see what happens. I have Texas. So I don't know. I just really feel I don't know.
You know how we usually do the national championship game? We're on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not if Texas is in it.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not doing it. I do agree with that. I will not be on. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. You had a comment on USC. So have your comment on them, and then we'll go to the NFL.
Okay. Because we're going to talk a little bit about the Chiefs as well.
Okay.
If you want to wait till we get to the Chiefs, we can kind of tie it in together.
That's right. It wasn't just a college thing. Yeah, we'll do it at the end. Let's just do it at the very end.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll go to the NFL. We'll get through these fairly fast here. The Thursday night game, we've talked about it a little bit earlier today. Jets and the Browns. Browns 7.5-point favorite. Who you got tonight?
Again, as we talked about on the Daily Show, if you trust the Browns, you go with them. It's just how much trust do you have in the Browns and Flacco, who's been really, really good. Just how much trust do you have in them? to go ahead and take the 7.5. That's the whole key. That half kind of bothers me a little bit. I like the Browns a lot. I think they have done extremely well. If I was going to bet it, I probably would go ahead and take them, but those Jets are feisty. So I really admire what the Browns have done this year.
Dennis says, do the Browns play to their opponent? I think it's more just the Browns are just kind of a scrappy bunch. They're just kind of going to do what they have to do to win type of season for them. They played very, very well this year. So, yeah, 7.5 may be the problem, but I'm not betting the Jets, so give me the Browns in this one. All right, Lions and the Cowboys on Saturday. This should be a really good game. Cowboys need a win big time. They're 5.5-point favorites here. They're back home. That's the key. You look at that home record, 7-0 at a home this season. All right, who you got, Cowboys or Lions?
It's a good one. There's a lot of seeding implications in this for the Lions. They could still get up there as high as 2. They could even get the 1 seed. Wouldn't that be something? They've locked up the division, so they've locked up a 3 seed at least. I don't know. The Cowboys, I thought they played better last week, didn't you? I didn't think they stunk it up.
Yeah, they were better.
I was impressed with Miami a lot. I don't know how good Detroit is. I think they're gutty and everything, but I don't know how good they are. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cowboys to win and cover.
It's a simple handicap for me. They're at home, so I'll take them. I mean, and a lot of times you can't make a statement like that and it be all that accurate, but just look at the data. I mean, at home they score a ton of points. No matter who they play, they seem to just whip up on them. They go on the road and they're just not very good. So whoops, I hit the wrong button there. I'm going to go Cowboys. All right, Sunday's games. We'll kick it off. Patriots and the Bills. Bills 13-point favorites here after just barely surviving in Los Angeles, but they did survive. So who you got in this one? Patriots, Bills.
Too many points. Bills win. Patriots plus 13.
All right.
They'll play hard.
I think the Bills cover in this one. So
I don't.
Bills. Well, you're probably right. Falcons and the Bears. The Bears 3-point favorites here at home against the Falcons. And the Bears are not mathematically eliminated yet.
No,
but they will be.
I really like the way the Bears are playing. I thought I kind of thought Arizona might go in there and beat them last week, and they didn't. The Bears are 6-9. They've lost a couple of real close games. They could be 8-7 real easy. I don't like Atlanta, but I miss Atlanta every week. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bears to win that one, and I'll take the 3 points as well.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears as well in this one, and I miss Atlanta every single week as well. Every week. All right, let's go Raiders, Colts here. Raiders, I miss them every single week here lately as well. On their own here, taking on the Colts. This is a huge game between two average teams. Colts are 3.5 points favorites here. What do you think?
Love the way the Raiders played last week in Kansas City. They are kind of playing like the old-time Raiders used to. They're dirty.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mentality they used to have, and they haven't had that for a long time. Or was it just the Chiefs' ineptitude? It could be a combination of both.
Yeah.
I think the Colts are kind of soft. This is a game. The Raiders can win this game, but let's not overlook the fact the Raiders did not complete a pass in the second half at Kansas City. They don't have a quarterback. Give me the Colts to win it.
Colts for you, Colts for me. I think the Colts get it done here. And I think, look, it's kind of been proven over the past however many days you want to talk games you want to talk about. Just because you beat the Chiefs this year doesn't mean you're very good. A lot of bad teams have beat them, and the Raiders are another one. So I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. All right, Rams and the Giants in this one. Rams 5.5 point favorites here on the road against the Giants in a game the Rams absolutely need and have to win. What do you think?
They have to win it. Giants are one of those teams too that they're not worth a crap.
That's a funny comment.
That's a good one. The Giants aren't any good, but they play hard. They do. Um, I think this game's going to be a tough one for the Rams. Again, they don't play real well on the road. It's a must win. They got to win it. They got a great chance to make the playoffs. I'm going to take the Giants plus 5.5, but I think the Rams win.
I'll take the Rams. I'm not betting the Giants ever, so I'll take the Rams in this one.
I didn't bet them. I'm just saying.
I just can't do it. Cardinals and the Eagles are next. The Eagles, 10.5-point favorites. They need to keep rolling here. They need to end the season strong. This would be a huge win for them. I don't know about the 10.5. I think they're going to win. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not too high on the Eagles right now. But to go back to Magic, an Eagle will kill a Cardinal, right?
Right. There's no question about that.
There's no reason why they can't cover this, but it is the NFL. 10.5's a bunch, and I don't like the way they're playing. They didn't play very well last week, I didn't think. They got this game, and then they go to the Giants to end the season, and they got to win them both to win the division. So the motivation's there. I'm going to go ahead and take them to cover.
No bet for me on this one, but I do think the Eagles will win. 10.5, a little too much for me for a shaky Eagles defense. All right, Saints and the Buccaneers next. Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorite. That's very playable. I'm shocked they're only 2.5-point favorites, but here we are. Bucs win, and Bucs win the division. They're at home. They've got the Saints, a team they should beat. They're hot. Does it all fall apart, or do they keep going this weekend?
Well, come on. OU fans, this is the only game that matters this whole week, right?
Yeah, I mean, really.
You gotta root for Baker, man.
Yep.
I'm nervous. This one, actually, I'm going to be watching this one. I'm ready for this one. If the Tampa Bay team that showed up last week shows up this week, they're going to kick them. I thought they played great against Jacksonville. Baker's got them playing like his personality. I mean, they look like a really decent team. 2.5, give me the Bucs to keep it going against an up and down New Orleans team.
We just continue to ride that Bucs train, and it is paying off, man. No doubt winner last week. I'm going to the Bucs once again this week. Here you go. I'll set it up for you. The Bucs win the division with a win. They will most likely play the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. The Cowboys are horrible on the road.
Yeah.
The Bucs could win a playoff game. That is a thing that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
So just kind of a preview of what could happen there. All right, 49ers.
By the way, Kevin B mentions Mike Evans, the receiver for the Tampa that's clutch.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff coming out of Kansas City that Evans is a free agent. And wouldn't he look good in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform?
Anybody would. Kevin B would look good right now in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. So,
and can Tampa pay him and Baker if they want to bring Baker back?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
Interesting scenario there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But Evans would look good for sure. 49ers and the Commanders next. Niners need to bounce back after pretty much getting their ass beat.
Ooh.
They should, though, against the Commanders team that's pretty helpless. 12.5-point favorite here for the 49ers. Who you got?
Well, I think same theme as always. Is that too many points? It is on the road. They got killed last week. I mean, I was shocked. Not that they lost, but they got dominated. So they're going to bounce back. But I like the Commanders plus 12.5.
All right, Commanders plus 12.5. I'll take the 49ers. I'm not betting the Commanders against the 49ers. All right, Panthers and the Jaguars. Jaguars 6.5-point favorites in a must-win game against the horrible Panthers. Can they get it is the question.
Are they ever going to win again? It seems like they haven't won since.
Not only are they not winning, they look horrible.
They look awful. They look whipped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would it surprise you if Carolina wins? It wouldn't me.
No.
I do think Jacksonville will win. It's a matter of what if you think 6.5 is too many. Can they win a close game? I don't know. They may have to win by more than 6.5. They're not very good. They aren't. So, but can you take Carolina? It's one of those things we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You can't bet money on a bad team, can you?
Well, not in this spot. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. So I'm going to take the Jaguars to cover.
Yeah, I went to the same kind of thing. I'm going Jaguars as well. All right, big game here. Dolphins and the Ravens. Ravens 3.5-point favorites here against the Dolphins. This would be back-to-back huge wins for the Ravens if they can get it. What do you think?
Huge game. Man, this has got number 1 seed written all over it.
Oh yeah, this is it. I mean, this is for the number 1 seed.
It.
Yep.
And it's at home. And both teams coming off huge games last week. So there's no excuse for one team to let down and the other one doesn't. It's the game of the week for sure. I'm just going to go with the home team. I think the more physical team are the Ravens. And I think the Dolphins are not quite there yet as far as physicality. So I'm going to go the Ravens to cover.
I think the Ravens are a little bit better team. So I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I agree with you on that one. Yeah. Titans and the Texans next. Texans 5.5-point favorites here against the Titans in a game the Texans need to win. CJ Stroud should be playing in this game. That's good news for the Texans.
Yeah. This is the team I miss the most, the Texans. Never get them right. Atlanta's next, and this is the worst. I think I'm going to get them this week. I'm going Texans. I don't know about the points. I think they'll cover. With him back, that should help.
Yeah.
Are they – do you know who is in first in that division right now? What the tiebreakers are or anything?
I'm not sure.
I kind of think Houston has the tiebreakers, but the last time I looked.
I don't know the tiebreaker situations. I do know the standing situations for that division. And it's an interesting situation because it's a 3-way tie with Jacksonville, right, Indianapolis, and Houston. I will be honest. I don't know if it's a 3-way tie, how it shakes out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably really complicated. They need to win. I don't know who the best of those 3 teams are. They may be with Stroud the better of the 3.
I think they are.
Jags, Colts, Texans in that order, according to.
If it's a 3-way, I'm not sure if it's a 2-way. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Yeah,
I think one of them plays the other one, so that might make it a two-way. I don't know, but anyway,
the Texans and the Colts play the last game of the season.
That's what I thought. So that'll settle that situation. So I'm going to go the Texans to win.
I'll go with the Texans to win this one as well and to cover. Steelers and the Seahawks, another big game here. Seattle, 3.5-point favorite against the Steelers. Who you got?
Daggum Steelers. They're not amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they dominate the Bengals, who really, really, really needed that win bad.
Yeah, they've been playing awful. Just terrible. They'd lost 3 in a row. One of them to Arizona at home. And what do? They come out and beat the Bengals. That's what they do. Seattle has been living on the edge, but winning. This is a game at home. They got to win it. I think they'll probably make the playoffs if they can get this one. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Steelers plus 3.5. I don't like that half.
Wow.
I think Seahawks win.
Give me the Seahawks. I think they'll cover. Give me the Seahawks in this one. All right, Chargers and the Broncos. We have no Russell Wilson in this game. He's been benched. Jarrett Stidham will start for the Broncos. They're still 3.5-point favorites. Boy, the Broncos really blew a chance last week with a horrible loss. What do you think? Can they bounce back at home this week?
Are they benching him because he was so bad? Or are they benching him because of this contract situation?
I really have no idea. I think it's a little bit of everything.
I do too. Oh, it's just a unwatchable. I can't watch either one of these. So I'll go with Denver just because they're at home.
Yeah, I don't care about this game. I'll go Denver as well. I think they'll play better. They still have a little bit more to play for, so I think Denver gets it done. All right, the Bengals and the Chiefs here. It's almost incredible that the Bengals win this game. They have the same record as Kansas City. I mean, that's how bad Kansas City has slipped. The Bengals have been awful all year. Kansas City, a 7-point favorite at home here against the Bengals. What do you think?
I think it's too many points.
I do too.
I just think it's too many. The Bengals are better than the Raiders.
They definitely are.
And they were 10.5 over the Raiders. Now they're 7 over the Bengals. I don't know. I got to take the Bengals plus 7. I think Kansas City wins, but I'm going to go the Bengals plus 7.
I don't think you bet Kansas City ever right now. They're just, Ooh, they're just bad. Finally, Packers and the Vikings. The Vikings are 2-point favorites at home against the Packers in a game both of them really need to win. Anything here that you like?
Nope. I think these two teams are almost identical, don't you? I mean,
Yeah, I hate both of them about equally. Yeah. I mean, they are really trash teams.
They are
that are 7-8.
Yeah. They still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The winner
I think the Vikings with Kirk Cousins probably would have been a playoff team. I mean,
I do too. There's no doubt.
I think that really hurt them. The Packers are just the Packers. They're very
but you know, Love has played okay. He hasn't been just terrible. He's gotten better as the year went on. I don't think he's their problems. They're a little short on talent. Again, I'm just going to go with Minnesota strictly because they're the home team.
Yeah.
The only reason.
Minnesota for both of us, I guess, in a game where, man, I just don't know. I don't know. It's neither team very good. All right. That'll do it. Now, you had a theory you wanted to go over. So let's talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, we're done, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I wanted to discuss a couple of things, just for the hell of it. Like, let's go back to the USC game. I know, Dennis, you don't want to talk about this, but USC, I thought, and I watched a lot of that game, I thought they didn't even look like the US team I saw the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season.
Right.
They were enthusiastic. They were motivated. They played extremely hard. And how many of their players were gone?
A lot.
And are we starting to see? And I think the NIL has something to do with it. Are the star players like Caleb Williams becoming a person that the other players are jealous of, or they're sick of the way they get all the attention?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looked like that to me last night.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't there, and they were going to go out and show him that, hey, we don't need you. I don't know if that's true, if that was just a one-time thing. And, Louisville's not a great team, but still a gutted USC team. Louisville was favored unjustly, and it was right for them to be favored. And USC came out and just played really well last night. The other thing that I can't understand, and this is everybody says, oh, you're an old-time coach. It hadn't been that long since I've been out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way I would have allowed Caleb Williams anywhere close to my team last night. I would not have.
Yeah.
Because he's not on the team anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And there he is on the sideline. I just would not have allowed that to happen, because he's making more money than most of the people that bought a ticket to go to the game. He can go to the game on his own if he wants to go. Right. You don't think that's wrong that he's over there on the sidelines?
Yeah.
He didn't
in modern times, no. Is it kind of like throw it in your face a little bit? Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
If you want to address him specifically, Dennis has never been a fan. Curtis says Caleb Williams is a cancer. He's just a weirdo, and he definitely is a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's time to move on. I do agree with that. I think the thing is, like, he didn't go to another school or anything like that.
No, but
so there's that. Look, I'll say this, and I get how it looks. I just have to go back to, I remember when Lincoln Riley left in the middle of the night, and we had no quarterback because Spencer Rattler was already out the door, and we were getting ready to play a bowl game, and there was no reason for Caleb Williams to stick around and play that game again for OU. None. He could transfer to USC the next day, and he's out, and then we're playing a bowl game with no scholarship quarterback.
That's
he
true.
Stayed. He played in the bowl game.
He did.
They won. He played great. And I don't know. I've always just kind of thought, as weird as he acts, he does care because he just wouldn't have done that. That's a high character move. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe something happened to him out there.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know, but I know that Caleb Williams, that showed me something that night. And I think everybody just assumed he was coming back because he did that, and he didn't come back. And I don't know. I was just an all-time, like, he does care at least. But look, I know you see what happened this year, and then you see what happened in the bowl, and you think maybe he was a huge problem. I get it.
I don't know that he was a problem. How do I word this? I think
his fame was a problem.
His fame and his star power became the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that he didn't care. I'm not saying that because I thought he played hard in every game. I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just think the money, the fame, he was doing commercials.
Yeah.
He was on the Heisman Trophy, Heisman commercials that they do. He was on them. It's just a distraction now that, man, these coaches, I feel how you can coach college football now and keep your sanity. I don't know. It's just another thing you have to put up with.
Yeah.
For
sure.
And
I think there's a lot to what Curtis is saying. I think there's a lot to what Jason kind of alluded to, asked. The way these guys are now, if you ban him from the sideline, you do something like that, it's probably going to have more of a negative effect in the future than if you just let him on, He wasn't hurting anything being over there, right? That's kind of, and I think
again, guys, I don't know.
Well, I think the difference is, like, you don't want that to be a reality, but that probably is a reality.
It probably is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes against everything that you try to coach your players. It goes against every bit of what you preach every freaking day.
Yes.
Hey, we're all a part of this. We're all in this together. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the worst player on the team or a superstar. We all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you let a guy, stand there, I just don't think it's right. It would be interesting to me to see if Dylan Gabriel's on the sidelines tonight at Oklahoma.
Well, he won't be.
No, he won't. You want to know
because
why?
they invited Dylan Gabriel to play in the game, and Gabriel said that's not right of me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way it is at OU right now. You're either on the team or you're not.
Right. Yeah. And
it's you got to applaud Venables for that, and he loves Gabriel. We all do.
Yeah.
But in the press conference, the first thing he said in the press conference was, "Hey, we're going to talk about the guys that are here. We're not going to talk about the guys that aren't."
Right.
And that's no knock on the guys that aren't here. Hey, it's reality, guys. You're not with us anymore. Bye.
Well, and to your point of how this is going, and to Jason's point, he's saying that you're 100% right. That's why college football is heading down a bad path.
It is. It's only
ever in a million years ever would a program almost be forced to run off of Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, there's no doubt.
But now we're not the first school that's had to do it. A lot of teams have had to do it, and that's another path. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's just not good.
And we may sink or swim with Brent Venables' philosophy of, hey, you're either with us or you're not. I applaud it. We'll see what happens. But he's trying to sell, hey, you're a part of a family, and this is the way it is.
Well, the problem is it's a lot of talk, because if that was what he preaches was really true, Dylan Gabriel wouldn't be at Oregon. Like, I'm sorry, but
I agree.
If we're a family and we're in this together, and then you go, oh, you want to come back and we didn't expect it, we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's kind of not how the reality of it is. And that's just
we don't know exactly that's what happened. We don't know that for sure. It looks like it. It was almost like they told him, we thought you were going pro. You're not. We've promised this guy the moon,
and you
stay around. What are we going to do about it? And again, that's why when we'll be a coach, in college football right now. You got, it was a hard enough job as it was before it was legal to cheat.
Right.
Cheating legal is what we do now. It's all legal. Whatever you want to do is legal.
Right.
After we were against it for a million years, now you can do whatever you want. And you got to worry about everything else. You don't know who's going to be there from one day to the next. Here's another thing. You got dads calling you all the time. That didn't used to happen. When you went to play college ball, your dad was out of it. He was done. Don't you call me. Tell your dad to quit calling me. So, I mean, it's just.
All of this is true. Yeah.
It's just really tough.
And what Curtis said is true. And Curtis, there's an interview with Dylan. You wouldn't care much about it, but they talk about, hey, did you think about going to Ole Miss? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And he didn't say, well, they didn't have enough money, but he said all the things that a kid would say, like, oh, the opportunity just wasn't the best, and it just wasn't like the perfect fit. But the bottom line is he would love to go with Coach Levy, I'm sure, to Mississippi State, but the financial situation wasn't there.
And here's exactly what he said. He thought his plans all along were to play this year and come out for the draft. That was his plans.
Right.
And when the senior year was over, then the pro scouts, he got the evaluation from the pro scouts, and he was not highly thought of as a pro prospect. And he didn't get invited to the Senior Bowl and all this other stuff. And what did that tell him? Hey, I've got another year of eligibility.
Yeah. I
can go somewhere else and make tons of money, or I can stay for less money at OU, which was probably what was going to happen.
Yep.
And I got to go play another year for financial reasons. I can't come out for the draft and run the risk of not making a team when I can go to Oregon or somewhere else and make $2.5–3 million.
And there's the problem.
That's what it came down to.
Yep.
And he would have been a fool not to do it.
Yep. He would have.
And the fit was perfect for him at Oregon.
Yep.
And he will do very, very well there. The risk OU's taken, they lost a guy that's proven. And they're going into the SEC next year with an unknown.
Yep.
So this kid better be good. Jackson Arnold better be good.
Yep.
Because if in truth they did show Dylan Gabriel the door, which it certainly looks like it, because they probably didn't have enough NIL money to pay Jackson Arnold and Dylan Gabriel.
That's what
they knew
come down to.
Yeah, and they knew they had Jackson Arnold for 2 more years, whereas only Dylan would be there 1. Yep. So you're going to lose Jackson Arnold, who would have gotten into the portal and left, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
And they rolled the dice and went with a guy who probably has more athletic ability than Dylan Gabriel does.
Yep.
But he hasn't proven it yet.
Yep. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's
is. And how would you like to have to sit there and make these decisions with a guy? They had to tell Dylan Gabriel, who we went 6-7 last year. We probably would have been 2-10 without him.
Yeah.
We go 10-2 this year. He had a great year. You got to tell him we're taking this other guy over you.
It's crazy. Yep.
It is.
So talk about, you mentioned the Chiefs and all this too a while back.
Well,
Dennis is curious. Yeah.
Well, if you watch the Chiefs like we do, is Mahomes getting too big for his britches?
Yeah.
And anybody that's watched this show knows I sing his praises more than anybody, and I think he is special. But is he expecting too much out of guys that can't produce?
Yeah.
And is that becoming a distraction? Is he being too vocal? Are things going on to where those guys are getting sick of him?
Right.
Is he getting too much notoriety and he's not playing as well as he's capable? And is that starting to cause trouble?
Yep.
And Kelsey's joining in a little bit too. I haven't seen it quite as much as Mahomes, but Mahomes is so visible. Or are the Chiefs just bad?
I think they have chemistry problems for sure.
I do too.
Yeah. the bottom line is Mahomes doesn't look like he used to look at all.
No.
I mean, he doesn't.
He's unsure.
And he just doesn't look very good. He looks like quarterback
trying to do too much.
Yeah. They didn't, and exactly right. They didn't get a receiver, and this is where we're at. But they do have some some chemistry issues, I think, no doubt. So
I think I think they're out of control a little bit too.
A little bit. Yep.
They've gotten some stupid penalties in critical situations.
Yep.
And I think Pacheco's a problem. I don't know, but
it seems it.
I mean, if I'm a Chiefs player and I really care, I don't think I'm gonna not do what Mahomes wants me to do. I mean, you've got to respect the guy, but I don't know.
Well, I think also he's never had any adversity, really.
No.
I mean, they've always been really, really, really good.
They have.
And now they're not. And I think it's showing. I don't think he's really had to handle something like this before. So that's a lot of it too.
Well, you wouldn't be, and again, I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I don't really care, but to lose to a Raiders team that didn't complete a pass in the second half and only had like 61 yards total passing offense anyway, and 100 and some total offense. And your defense played great, kept you in the game. You gave them 14 points. They only earned like 6 on their own. And you can't score enough to beat them. There's an issue.
Yep.
And what was it, 20-7, and they broke that big long play to get in the chance to win the game.
Yep.
They finally broke a play.
Yep.
And then couldn't stop them going down the field. That's kind of what losing teams do.
Yep.
And somebody mentioned in the chat, they lose this game this week, and I don't know what's going to happen. Although they end up with the Chargers. So
you cannot sit here and think there's not a chance of that. There's a big chance they lose a game. You can't watch them week after week and think they have no shot of losing. I think they're going to win, but I mean, they just lost at home to the Raiders. And like I said, it's not like the Raiders came in and played a great game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They are missing Tyreek Hill. They rolled the dice on that and signed Kelsey and signed Mahomes and signed Chris Jones to big time money contracts. And they just didn't have enough or didn't think it was wise to invest in Tyreek Hill. And thought they could replace him with, you can't replace him, but get somebody in there that's serviceable, and they haven't been able to find that person.
Well, and the rebuttal of that is they did win the Super Bowl last year.
They did.
So, I mean,
and here's another thing: a lot of teams would trade places with them. So.
I would think so. I mean, it's not like it all fell apart because they did win the Super Bowl. No, that is true.
They did win the Super Bowl last year without him.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean,
everybody forgets that.
Yeah. They just, you have to have somebody out there, even losing like a Juju. It's like, where they could use him right now,
They could.
So,
They could. So,
all right. Well, any final thoughts before we head out?
Nope.
Okay.
I think we got it covered.
I would say 50-50 on blinkers off. I have not heard from the co-host and the man who sets that up, so I don't know if it's going to happen today. But if it does, I'll see you guys later today. If it doesn't happen, I'll see you tomorrow for Dudes Who Bet Daily at 11 a.m. Central Time. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. We'll see you next week on Dudes Who Bet Sports.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.